The first stage of the massage is the stroking. It involves quite shallow movements and begins with the major drainage. We move our hands from the middle of the forehead towards the temporal region and perform a gentle compressive movement. Then we move towards the second line, which starts from the wing of the nose, using the edge surface of our palms. We perform a gentle compressive movement towards the helix, along the upper jaw and the cheekbone. Then we move along the next line using the edge surfaces of our palms until we reach the lips and place our index and middle fingers around them. We perform a gentle compressive movement down towards the trachea and move along the bottom line from the middle of the chin towards the earlobe, also with compression. We move down to the cleavage along the sides of the neck, do a U-turn, pass the shoulders and return to the ear lobes along the sides of the neck. We go back to the first line through the center of the face and repeat the combination of these movements 2 or 3 times. The second movement is the minor drainage. The edge surfaces of our palms slide under the chin and our thumbs are placed near the wing of the nose. We perform a gentle pressing movement towards the lower jaw and move towards the earlobe under the chin. Then we move down along the side of the neck and do a U-turn at the cleavage. After that, we return to the earlobe along the side of the neck. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. Our next movement is the stroking of the subcutaneous neck muscle. We begin with the earlobe region and move down along the side surface. We perform a stroking movement at the cleavage and move up towards the middle of the chin. The chin region is pressed with the index fingers, and then we move in the opposite directions towards the earlobe. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. It is followed by the stroking from the mouth region towards the ear. We slide under the chin with the edge surfaces of our palms and perform a compressive movement above the upper and below the lower lips using our index and middle fingers. Then we gently move in the opposite directions towards the earlobes. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. The next movement is the stroking of the orbicular muscle of the mouth. The upper and the lower lips are pressed with both hands alternately, followed by a compressive movement at the modilus. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times with each hand. Then the stroking is repeated with compressive movement using both hands. The next movement is the stroking of the infraorbital region. We reach the wing of the nose with the edge surfaces of our palms, perform a gentle compressive movement at the wing of the nose, and move towards the temporal region along the upper jaw and the cheekbone, followed by another compressive movement. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. The stroking of the eye region consists of a series of movements known as the glasses and the figure of 8. The first movement involves synchronous stroking of the lower eyelid region towards the nose region, using the pad surfaces of the tips of middle or ring fingers. The upper eyelid is stroked towards the temporal region using 1 or 2 fingers. This movement is repeated 3 or 4 times. It is followed by the big and small figures of 8. This movement is alternately performed with the pad surfaces of the tips of ring fingers in the direction of the nose along the lower eyelid and in the direction of the temple along the upper eyelid. The figure of 8 is performed one with each finger. The small figure of 8 is performed with a synchronous U-turn at the outer corner of the eye. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. Compressive glasses. This sliding movement is synchronously performed along the lower eyelid towards the nose region using our ring fingers. Then we press our middle finger against the brow head and stroke the eyebrow in outward direction. This movement is repeated 2 or 3 times. Vibrating glasses. The pad surface of the tip of the ring finger slides from the outer edge of the eye to the inner. Then we press our middle finger against the brow head and perform a gentle wavy movement in the eyebrow region. This movement is repeated 3 times. Now we move on to the stroking of the forehead region. We begin from one side. The stroking movement is performed 3 or 4 times. Starting from one side, passing the middle, and ending on the other side. This movement is repeated once. The wavy stroking of the forehead muscles is alternately performed with both hands from one temporal region to the other, using the palmar surface of all the fingers. This movement is repeated 3 times with each hand. The first 8 wavy movements are followed by another 4 and 2 consecutive waves. The first stage is now completed, and we can move on to the next stage, which is the rubbing. First Professional Institute of Aesthetics.